one thing that was spoken a lot about in the game that happened before this was intent, lack of intent from the Indian team in that particular encounter. At least for West Indies, the positive was the run rate was climbing, but they were always in the game.
Yeah, I think a couple of run-outs, not just that one run-out, even Hetmyer at that first instance. I think you always find the difference between the two results. Sri Lanka started well with the ball and with the bat and ended both well as well with the bat and the ball. Could perhaps be the difference. I think those two run-outs hurt the West Indies. Obviously, the start wasn't ideal what they got, lost too many wickets early. You could see that those runs against that attack were there for the taking with that batting lineup. They don't lose as many wickets in the start, and there was still a very good pitch, and you saw at the end. I mean, Allen stays for another couple of overs, and West Indies were clear favourites at that point. So unfortunate, but Sri Lanka, if you look over 100 overs, the better team on the day.
Okay, the game could have still gone West Indies' way because they had to fill in those overs. And guess who did they give the ball to? Angelo Mathews. Dilshan, I'll ask you, last time Angelo Mathews bowled was way back in 2017, 2 years ago. Wonder why he wasn't bowling. He was right on the money from the start.
I think he's, as the first ball he took the wicket. I think normally he was the main bowler earlier, but unfortunately he's carrying injury. I think he's more focused to the batting. But this kind of situation might be, he used experience, he have a lot of experience. I think it's the right time to bowl and get wicket. I think the good thing, he can bowl at least 1 or 2 overs. He have experience. He used experience that over.
Okay, he was right on the money, but I'll get a spinner to respond to the other spinner. We were all talking about Vandersay coming in. What do you make of the first 2-3 overs that he bowled? Nervous?
Nervous. I mean, he must have been nervous. I mean, he's known for his accuracy, and to see him start that way, I mean, he almost bowled 3 or 4 wides in the first over. He bowled a couple of full tosses. It was probably quite unnerving for the batsman actually having to face him to know what was going to come down. And when Sri Lanka, we thought, only had 5 bowlers, at the back of it, Ajit and I were talking about how are they going to get through these last 2 overs, and to have Mathews there at the end, to call on him with his experience, they were very fortunate to have that, because if they had to turn to anyone else, it could have been a different proposition.
Yeah, I think if Karunaratne is honest, I don't think he was left with any other choice. He probably had to beg Angelo Mathews to roll his arm over. Fortunately, all that experience came into play there.
I know they were trying to experiment, Dilshan. I mean, 5 bowlers, and that really showed today. And Angelo Mathews, you didn't really expect him to bowl, had to bowl under the circumstances, especially when you've got someone like Vandersay who hadn't played a single game. Now, looking back in hindsight, that strategy with 5 bowlers almost cost them the match.
Yeah, the thing is, you're right. The thing is, Vandersay is a main bowler in the main spinner in the squad. We to talk about he should play, but he didn't bowl well for a few first overs. But we can't forget he took a very valuable wicket. West Indies captain is in the good form. Or if you play 5 bowlers, definitely at least 3 bowlers have to bowl well. All credit go to the Lasith Malinga show. His experience, his class. We talk about he had to take the wicket from the new ball. Have to win. We chased 300. Still, we have to get the wicket from the new balls. I think bowling unit done a great job, but really disappointed the fielding. We dropped more than 4 or 5 catches and a lot of misfield fumbles. I think that's why the West Indies came that close. If he took that catches, might be this match end much earlier.
Okay, Daren, we were talking about what is it that the West Indies can gain from this particular encounter, that they were knocked out of the tournament. The one thing they clearly gained is someone like a Nicholas Pooran. This is highest score across all formats. So yes, people would say that he had the potential, but he needed to get a knock like this. Then now for people to have that faith, you were talking about how he was getting shuffled. I don't think it's going to happen now after this, no?
Definitely not. You'd hope that he will cement his position and his play in this West Indian side. And, when you have that sort of movement in batting orders, in team selection, you know that it's a team that is searching for the right formula. And when you come into a World Cup, for you searching for that formula to get wins is not the right approach, you would say, for any team in a World Cup. The West Indies just seem to struggle a bit to get their combinations right. And it started from the onset. They will take away this positive from Nicholas Pooran. He's shown great potential as a young player. I don't know if many of you could recall that Under-19 World Cup in 2014. He single-handedly scored 143 against Australia in the semi-final. and the West Indies team only scored 203. So he showed that promise from very young. He had the unfortunate experience of a car crash that sort of kept him away from the game for about a year and a half. So it's really good to see his recovery. It's good to see his progress as a young player. He seems to have a good head on his shoulder. He's only played a handful of first-class matches, so you'd expect that he will open his mind to playing more first-class matches, and I think he could be a player that can be good for the West Indies across formats. Today he came good. He showed promise.
Yeah.
I think when you look at himself, Hetmyer, Shea Hope, you think that there is a great future in store for West Indies batting.